The buildings that currently house those departments are old, they are outdated, they limit what we can put in them, they are not safe.
The conditions of both of our facilities right now for fire and police are, I hesitate to call it deplorable, but it's very close to that.
The physical condition of the police station is, in one word, inadequate, I would have to say. It's an old building. It was never suited. It was never designed to be housing a police department. It was constructed in 1910 as a bank.
Then it was the town offices for a while, and now it's the police department. So you can imagine that it's not been upgraded to be police department friendly.
We don't have a very good booking area. As you'll see later, it consists pretty much of a bench with handcuffs and leg irons attached to secure the prisoner. This is where we process any arrestees. To begin the booking process, we have had possibly combative. We've had people under the influence in here, and that's sometimes a very tenuous situation.
At least once there has been a prisoner who took off from the Haydenville police station.
He did run out the back door, which necessitated a full search and involved police dogs and assistance from other agencies. People are currently thinking that we have secure cells and a more modern area. Yeah, I'm sure they would be surprised to see that this is the conditions we work with. We don't have a secure area, for one example, for interviewing people that may have to give information or for interviewing suspects in a case. We pretty much have to find a desk and a chair someplace and ask them the questions we need to ask. They're going to be looking for a certain amount of privacy, and people may feel uncomfortable, sitting here and then having maybe one of their neighbors come in or somebody come in, and they're going to be wondering exactly what they're doing there. We do have asbestos tiles in here, which are inherently dangerous. We do have issues with the ceiling and mold. We did have to install a new air handling unit to vent some of these, I don't want to say noxious fumes, but things can get uncomfortable in here sometimes. People have suffered allergy symptoms and sickness from being in here for long periods of time. Well, because we share a common building with the Haydenville Fire Department, there are 2 bays and there are fire trucks in there. Whenever there's a fire call, frequently the firefighters respond. They have to start the engines of the fire trucks within the bays. And since we share a common wall with them, there's been cases where exhaust has come into the building, making it very uncomfortable for the people in here. And some people have had illness situations with that, breathing the fumes. Well, currently our primary storage area for evidence, physical evidence, is in an old bank vault. It's very small. It's very difficult to categorize things and to organize things within that vault. It was designed to hold money 80 years ago. A lot of our permanent records we keep over at the basement of the town hall, which is almost like a dungeon type situation. It's very damp. We have mold issues. If something needs to be found quickly, the system we have now is not user-friendly. We pretty much have things thrown kind of like in a willy-nilly manner. We have things stuffed into cardboard boxes that we try and keep organized, but it's still difficult.
Our current Station 1 was built in the early 1900s, and over the years it have been adapted to the modern fire equipment that is needed.
Particularly the Williamsburg station, when they built it, fire trucks didn't weigh much. Maybe they weighed 20,000 pounds. Now they weigh 35,000 pounds, and just the cement floor doesn't hold.
The floor was never made to carry the weight of the fire apparatus, a modern day fire apparatus. As you can see, this is probably dropped probably 6 or more inches down, and has cracked, and it carries out underneath the truck. The truck is pretty dirty at this point. It's been too cold to take it out and wash it. We can't wash them inside the bays because the drainage system is inadequate. With the road salt, it gets into the valves and it can cause rust. It would be beneficial to have a area where we could wash them inside to get the grime off after each and every call. When we purchase a new fire truck, we have to purchase it to the size of the building rather than to the needs of the department. Well, as you can see, there's only about maybe a foot in front of this truck, and it allow the members to get around it and into the truck. They barely fit through the garage door, and if there's snow in front of the doors, we actually have to make sure that they're shoveled out before we leave the bays, or else it would hit the top of the door. So this is our fill station for filling our SCBAs, or our self-contained breathing apparatus. That equipment fills the air bottles for our air packs. It has been struck twice by the engine. People backing in just get over too far and have actually smashed out the lights on the engine, and it's bolted to the floor and actually knocked the bolts out one time.
We just need to have one facility that's, adequate and good, and stop spending tax dollars buying vehicles to fit into too small of bays and spending extra money to outfit a vehicle so it'll fit in there, rather than buying something that's more standard and will back in immediately.
Recently there was a projected blizzard to hit the area, so we ended up staffing both of our fire stations with crew members, and they were required to be here from 11 at night to 7 in the morning, which required them to actually have to sleep in the station. Currently, we do not have any facilities to allow them to sleep inside the station comfortably. We have some old couches that have donated to us over the years, or an old recliner that they were forced to sleep in. The stairs are from the original station when it was originally built. They're steep and the treads are narrow. I have tripped several times going up and down them.
The second floor is not very safe. I worry sometimes that we'll end up on top of the fire engines when we're up there.
The sealant around the fireplace leaks quite a bit. We have done some maintenance to eliminate the leaks. We actually replaced all these tiles maybe 3 months after we got them all replaced. That it leaked. And the windows are all old. As you can see from this one, they don't like to shut all the way sometimes. And this one, unfortunately, has a broken pane in it.
The biggest thing, besides the size of the apparatus space, is there is no storage. Everything you have is just out there. It looks like a hoarder lives there. Everything should have a place, and for the safety of people walking around there.
This equipment here is our antique equipment gathered from the past. It's not the most conducive for storing it, but without the space, we don't have any place to keep our antiques and our trophies that members from the past have worked hard to get. The records are kept in the office space, which is shared with an oil tank, and the office does not have any heat at this time. I tend to avoid coming in on really cold days because it does take a while to warm up the office with a small space heater that I have. It'd be a much friendlier work environment to work in an office that is climate controlled, and I think it would benefit the record keeping that we have to keep, that be more in a climate controlled building.
It's always been a concern that the fire stations were that close to the floodplain.
Our station in North Main Street in Williamsburg is located within 5 feet of the river off the back side of the building. If the river did ever jam up or flood, and it would pretty much make the station useless.
It would be very strategic to have the fire station that was not in a floodplain. It was on Route 9. Route 9 is accessible to you then you can work around and find other ways to get to other parts of the town.
Due to the location of this department, we are on the far side of the Mill River, and we have to cross 2 bridges to get there. And there have been occasions where the river has overflowed its banks, in effect cutting us off from the rest of the town, severely reducing our ability to respond and increasing our response time if we can get out.
During the hurricane a few years back, both of those bridges were shut down for a short period of time, which isolated that station from actually responding to any calls into the rest of the town.
The department has grown over the years, and with the increase of manpower, we've had an increase in the amount of calls we've had and the types of calls we've had.
On average, the Williamsburg Fire Department is responding to 290 incidents a year, and that has been increasing steadily over the last several years.
As the emergency manager for the town, I feel it's very important that all of the emergency service personnel are housed in one place. It makes it easier for us to communicate, to respond, and to serve the citizens of the town.
I think it's important to bring all the firefighters together as one unit. Right now we have 2 fire stations, 2 groups of people.
It would cut down on our response time.
They'll be more centralized and able to respond, I believe, faster and you know, do a better job for us.
We've updated our highway department, we've updated the school. It's time to take care of the people who take care of us. More is demanded of them, and I think that we owe it to them to give them a safe and comfortable place to work in.
They don't get much pay for being firefighters. They're probably one of the lowest paid employees for the town, and they're probably at the, one of the highest risk employees for the town. So they deserve to be rewarded, and they deserve to have the facilities and equipment that will keep them safe.
They really devote their time to the town, and they care about the people in town, and they care about their job tremendously. So it's very important that we support them as much as we can.